Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stories on the Small Screen. This is season 2, episode 2 of Our Kind of People, titled My Mother, Myself. Remember, it airs on Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on Fox. So, as you know, as my first video, that was literally my first YouTube upload, post, voiceover, everything. So, thank you in allowing me the grace to get better. And of course, this one still won't be perfect, but I'm hoping it will be better than the last one. As my daughter told me, Mom, your video was nice, but it gave me PBS special in your voice. So I don't want to make it a PBS special. Although they're very informative, we don't want to make it, a PBS special when my voice is monotone. Or as if when I was in college one year, I literally dropped a class because the professor's voice was how my voice sounded in my first upload. So, with that being said, let's get into the episode. And like I said, we'll get better with time. So, episode 2 takes place with Angela Vaughn talking on social media. I wasn't sure if it was a live on, I'm sure it's probably Instagram or TikTok. I'm not sure what she was on, but she was on live talking about her hair care and what she learned from her mom of how to do styles and how she learned how to take care of hair. So we move on to church. Somehow they're all in the same church. Maybe it's the only church that they all go to. And Angela Vaughn's enjoying the service and her family. Leah and her family's there. We have Tyreek, which is played by Lance Gross with his fine self. He's there. Once Angela starts feeling the spirit, or the pastor, which happens to be John Gray, but that's another story, is giving the word, and they both stand up, Tyreek and Angela. Of course, they lock eyes. After church, Angela and Tyreek have a small conversation. She lets him know she's looking for a contractor to renovate her business, and Tyreek says he's up for the job to renovate her business, Eve's Crown. So moving on, Angela leaves Tyreek and heads over to Leah, where she's having a conversation with a few church members. Angela asks Leah, say, hey, can they clear the air? Of course, Leah gives that little snide smirk she gives, rolls her eyes with her mean woman in this case, attitude. And she goes to have a conversation with Angela. Um, the conversation was very heated, and Leah actually goes on to call Angela a social climber, saying that, it's people like you that can only come here for summer houses, and it's people like her and her family who's there year round, making things happen. I was like, no, she didn't. I was like, Lord have mercy, this is getting good. But actually, I even wrote down her exact words. Her exact words was like, we don't have an affair with black excellence. We are black excellence. Whew, that was enough. Angela better than me, because there's no way I would have let somebody say that to me. But hey, it is what it is. Needless to say, that conversation did not end well. So we're moving all along, and the next clip or the next scene is Lee and her husband, who's played by Morris Chestnut, the fine Raymond. I believe that's his name. They're having a conversation. I'm not sure if they're in the closet or the bathroom, but it was steamy. It was sexy. It was beautiful to see a married couple that way. But Raymond is actually pissed because he's pissed at Leah's father. He wants his company back. And I believe his company is named Darman, DuPont, and Harmon blended together. So, and Leah's trying to explain to her, give her time, she'll get it fixed, and they go back and forth. But hey, it was still a steamy scene, and I guess we'll see what's going to happen with that later on. So now we move to the scene with I believe the women of the Gracities Society. I can never say that. Even in the last upload, I said it wrong. I'm probably saying it wrong in this one, but you guys know what I mean if you watch the show. So they're putting flowers together, and Leah always throws a little mean girl shade at Angela. She's putting the flowers together, making the arrangements, and she's like, "Hold up, Leah, with the baby breath. We don't want it to look cheap." Just unnecessary stuff, but it is what it is. But Angela she gives a little side eye, but she handles it well. So after leaving that event, Angela actually runs into Raymond, and she's like talking about Eve's Crown and how she's interested in the incubator program. And he gives his solid advice about how to make her business a solid structure. And if she makes her business a solid structure, then he'll look at it. So Angela takes his advice and says, I'll show you that my business can be a solid structure. And that basically ends that scene. But let me rewind. I forgot. Leah wants one of the women in the society to take flowers over to her mother. And without listening to what the other woman says, hey, my son, I believe he has writing lessons or some type of lessons. She can't do it. So Angela volunteers to do it. Not sure if she was volunteering out of the goodness of her heart, but she was volunteering to kind of get it in and go see Leah's mother. So she volunteers to take the flowers over to Leah's mom's house, and Leah's mom's name is Rose Franklin, and that's Teddy's wife. So it gets very interesting when Angela gets over to Rose Franklin's. I'm not sure if she's in a beautiful home or what's happening. And she's surprised for what she encounters when Rose looks at her and goes, "There you are," and she mistakes Angela for her daughter Leah, and she has some choice words for Angela, who she thinks is Leah. So clearly she's dealing with some type of dementia or Alzheimer's. I'm not sure if they said what it is, but she's clearly dealing with something. And Angela takes that as her opportunity, I guess, to pick Rose's brain for, no, regarding what she remembers about her mother Evelyn. So Rose asks Angela, which she still thinks is her daughter Leah, to help her get ready, do her hair. So Angela starts to do her hair, and she goes, "Do you remember Evelyn Vaughn?" And Rose talks like, "I remember her. She was my friend for 2 years, and she had an affair with your father, and she's a cheap whore," or something to that effect, and she gave her child up for $50,000. This literally floored Angela. Like in her tracks. She stopped dead in her tracks. Angela then runs out the room, shocked and hurt. So we move on. We fast forward from that scene. There's a quick scene with Angela and Tyreek, where Tyreek is working in Angela's business or home, and he exposes another room. The room happens to be her mother Evelyn's room, and she finds a bunch of her mom's things that she goes through. So this kind of actually puts Angela in a good mood, but also, she's still kind of in a bad mood from what she heard about earlier. So fast forward to back to Leah and her daddy, Teddy Franklin. Another power struggle. That seems like they always have is power struggles. This time they're at the photo shoot for Forbes magazine cover. And Leah's there with her daughter first, discussing family and her daughter's thing she's going through. But of course, Teddy Franklin, her dad, walks in to bust her bubble pretty quickly. Teddy then proceeds to talk about power and what it does. And they go back and forth. They banter back and forth for a while. But Leah brings up that she remembers as a little girl that they went to Angela's house and a young girl crying behind the car. And of course, Teddy Franklin, Papa Franklin, I don't want to call him Papa Pope, but he's giving me Papa Pope 2.0 in this series here. Teddy Franklin downplays it and walks away. So moving on, we move on to the next scene where Leah takes a visit to Angela's home. She's like, "Well, if you're going to go up to the incubator program, I need to know more about you." So she's in Angela's home, and she's like, of course, giving her mean girl banter as she normally does. And her daughter's with her, and of course her and her daughter get into it, and the daughter says that she's in love with, another girl, and Leah kind of says she can't accept that, and the daughter runs off. So of course Angela tries to give her some advice, and Leah's like, "Mind your business, stay out of it. You have no idea what I'm talking about again." But Angela says, "You know what? I do know, mother to mother, it matters." Something to the effect of what you say to her next matters. And actually that kind of calms Leah down because it gives them another connection. And trust me being a mother myself, that's some good advice. So we move on to the next scene where Angela actually is confronting her aunt. She's still in a breakdown regarding what she found about her mother. She somehow finds out that her mother gave her away for $50,000 to some woman, and Angela's aunt is trying to calm her down. Aunt Patricia, I believe is her name, and saying that it was only for a short time. Her mother even tried to give away the money, but she couldn't give her the money because Patricia was in some type of trouble. So Evelyn, the mother, and that's Patricia's sister, helped her out. So I believe whatever trouble the aunt Patricia was in is going to probably come back later on in the season to haunt her, or to bring the story full circle. But we'll see. Her aunt explains that again, that her mom kept the money to get her out of trouble, but she didn't say what that trouble was. So now we move on to the Black Diamond Ball. And everyone's dressed to the nine, of course. Why would they dress any less? Everyone looks stunning, beautiful, etc., etc. Angela actually talks to Raymond again about the incubator project, but actually he's even more interested and more impressed because Angela actually got a small feature in Forbes, or a mention in Forbes, and that impressed Teddy. I'm sorry, that impressed Raymond, Leah's husband. So he said that he would take a look at her and her stuff more closely, and she'll get an answer from him, something to that effect. So at the ball, they're making these announcements. They're clapping people up. They're giving people. They're honoring people. And on the stage walks Teddy Franklin. Leah standing on stage. Teddy walks on stage. Of course, we have Power Struggle 5.0. I'm not sure how many how many confrontations they have, but anyways, on stage Teddy surprises Leah and tells the crowd, "I'm not retiring. She still will be my second in charge." Leah's face is shocked, and of course she's trying to save face in front of the crowd. Teddy's smiling, they're grinning as a family, and he's saying he's still the chairman of Franklin Holdings, and saying, "If you try to take me down, your husband will go down too." I mean, basically he's saying this to her in the background. So what you did not know is, when you're trying to take me down, your husband has some secrets he doesn't want to get out. So basically Leah has no, what do you call it, no choice but to go along with this. And obviously she was not happy. He even goes on to say, "I told you I was better at this than you." Another Papa Pope statement, but in this case, another Teddy Franklin statement. And Leah, I'm honestly, he's better at this than you. And you can tell, but you can tell where she gets it from. I was like, "Leah, girl, pick your face up off the floor. Your Teddy or your dad has won this round. You'll live to fight again another day." In the background, of course, Leah and her Raymond get into it. He's upset at her father. She's trying to calm him down and give her time, etc., etc. And that's pretty much that scene. We go back to Angela in the bar, and she kind of has this I don't know, this thing in her head where she sees Teddy on stage and she's just frozen. She's staring at him. That's her father, and she's looking at the way he treats Leah, and she's like, "You don't, she is his world, and obviously he knows about her but doesn't care about her." And so she's just grappling with that. And actually, um who comes again, Tyreek comes and asks her if she's okay, and she kind of snaps at Tyreek. And the scene goes back to backstage with Leah and Raymond, and actually their daughter, because the daughter walks in, and all of a sudden the police come and she's getting arrested for um, the attempted murder of her girlfriend Taylor. I'm not sure like what evidence they have, but she's like, "Daddy, daddy," of course, in hysterical, and of course they're going to get her out of it. Their money will do something. And that was that scene. Then you have Angela. She comes back to apologize to Tyreek for her behavior. He's in the pool swimming, looking all good, all that chocolateness. And she's telling him, that she has issues about some things she's learned about her dad. And then Tyreek gets vulnerable and talks about his father. And his father worked for Teddy Franklin, who actually died when he was young. And Teddy took her under his wing and care for him, which kind of throws Angela off, because she's like, "Oh, no, he took care of somebody else's kid, but not me." But I don't think Tyreek caught that, what she was trying to say. But he kind of gets her to calm down. They share a heartfelt moment in the pool, her just relaxing and floating on her back, and he's kind of guiding her how to release some things. And of course, they share a heartfelt kiss, which was nice. But again, for some reason, I can't trust this relationship. I don't know what is telling me that he's sneaky, but maybe it's just me exaggerating. But that was nevertheless a really nice scene. Moving on, we finally get to closer to the end of the episode, and we have Angela and her aunt and her daughter. They're finally releasing her mother's Evelyn's ashes. And I believe they're doing a poem by Maya Angelou. I'm sorry. It was beautiful. They were releasing the ashes. Everyone's in tears. And that's what they came to do from the beginning. So at least that was done. But then we go to Teddy again and Leah. And Teddy explains to Leah that yes, Angela finally is your sister. Finally admits it, I'm sorry, that it's your sister. And Leah gets upset and Teddy slams his chest game on the desk, on the table, and Teddy's like, yes, get that out of your system because you need to be able to control and get her under control because you don't want her to uncover skeletons that can ruin this family. So at least Leah knows that she does have a sister. I would be anxious to see how she handled Angela's from here now that she has a confirmation that Angela is her sister. So back to Angela's aunt. She's in the kitchen. This is the end of I believe, the last scene we're coming to of this episode. She's in the kitchen. She turns around. Teddy Franklin surprises her, and I don't know how, but she pulls a gun on him. So obviously they have history. It'd be interesting to see what this history is. Or is it the history of the secret, the trouble that the sister was in, that the mama had to get her out? This should be quite interesting. And I'm pretty sure the aunt and Teddy have way more history than we think they have. And maybe even the aunt is the real one that was in trouble and it wasn't Evelyn. But I mean, I could be just guessing. So that's all we got for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope my voice wasn't as monotone as the first. And of course, I'm trying to get it together. I want to thank you for watching. If you like it, of course, as they always say, like the video, hit share, and comment what you think. For me, remember I said I give it a scale of 1 to 10. I give this episode an 8. It was better than the first. It was solid. The first one, like I said, was good. I gave that a 7. This one has an 8. And let me know your thoughts, what you thought about it. What would you rank it? What did you think about some of the scenes? Was it too much or did they downplay a lot? Give me your thoughts on it. And like I said, thanks for watching. Until next time. Buddy, bye. Our kind of people.